everybody. Welcome to the Lund Loop Daily Update for Wednesday, July 1st, 2026. Happy Hump Day. Can't believe we're in July already. Got the fireworks stands popping up all over town. I used to love 4th of July when I was a kid because I was a huge pyromaniac. I couldn't wait to get my hands on legal and illegal fireworks. These days, not so much a fireworks guy. I like the 4th of July for the patriotism, for the celebration, for the hamburgers and hot dogs at the beach, all that stuff. But the area that I live, it's like it's a military war zone every 4th of July. Not only just the 4th of July, like the days leading up to it. I can't believe the types of mortars and shells and explosive aerial devices that people in this area can get their hands on. I mean, I know Mexico's close by, but still, it really is crazy. Or the poor dogs and cats have PTSD for weeks. So my view on 4th of July has changed quite a bit over the years. But anyway, you don't care about my view on 4th of July. You care probably about my view on the markets. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. In today's daily update, I asked the question, is it really that simple? Is it really that simple to make money consistently in the market? Now, I've said for a long, long time, trading is not easy, but it doesn't have to be complicated. And we tend to overcomplicate things in our lives. There's a lot of reasons why we might do that, but most of the time we know how to do stuff. For example, you want to lose weight? It's just math. You have to burn more calories than you put in. It's not complex. It's very simple. You want to lose more weight fast? You got to increase that ratio between burning calories and putting calories in. Pretty simple. When it comes to markets, it's not that complex. Cut your losers quick, let your winners run, right? The problem we run into a lot of times is people have goals. They say, I want to lose 20 pounds, or I want to make $100,000 this year, or I want to make 40%, whatever. But they don't have systems. That's where they get into trouble. So like if you want to lose that 20 pounds, you say, okay, well, I'm going to make sure I go to the gym 3 days a week. I'm going to go to Costco and get some healthy but delicious foods. You have to get a process in place and then drive it. It's the same thing in the markets, right? The process that I try to put in place is very simple. We look at the indexes from a technical analysis standpoint, and we're trying to decide, are we in a risk on or a risk off mode, and where are we in that continuum? Then we look at the ETFs. We say, what are these ETFs saying? Are they supporting what we're seeing in the indexes? Are they supporting the idea of being either risk on or risk off? Then we go to the individual names and we say, which names are surfacing themselves through price and chart patterns, right? You take that, you throw a little bit of spidey sense on for doing this for 40 years, and it's pretty simple. The reason people try to overcomplicate things is because overcomplicating them is a very easy excuse for lack of discipline, right? When you know what to do, when you know, oh, I've got to eat less and put in fewer calories than the calories that I burn, it's really hard to obfuscate and say, oh, I don't know how to do it. But when you make it really complex and there's all sorts of different things you have to do in ways, and you go, oh, it's just too much, It's a cover or an excuse for not having discipline. Discipline is hard. I get it. All right. But discipline is easier when you've got a system that's fairly simple. And I think if you look at what we've done the last, few months, we've made it pretty simple here. You take a look at the SPX. When we were rolling over here and everyone was freaking out, right? Everyone's out of the market. We got this reversal here, and that's when we started to say, okay, things are shifting here. We're starting to see some things firm up. We started to see some positions come onto the watch list. And during this whole period when people were saying, oh, this can't be a real move. Oh, it's going to reverse at any minute. Oh, this is just a counter trend rally. We stayed really, really risk on through this whole process. A little bit off here, but mostly all the way up to here. And on this day, when we came down just 0.75%, but a lot of names started to drop more, that's when I said, hey, take some money out of the market. Write yourself a big fat check, right? That helped avoid this big down day. But even on this down day, we didn't panic. We just kept with our process, our simple process. What are the charts telling us? What are individual names telling us? What's our watch list telling us? Are things coming onto the watch list? Are they, or are they staying off? We came down here to the 50. We had this big counter trend rally. We started talking about the rotation potential out of AI names, out of memory names, out of chip names, into some of the beaten down software names. Started picking a few of them up here very gingerly. Then we came down, held the 50 again. And we've had this big rally off of the 50. We have two spots where the 50 is held. And now we're looking pretty good. Of course, anything could happen tomorrow. But the point is if you have a process, it's a simple process. It's easier to follow. You don't need as much discipline. And of course, if you put it inside of the best thing ever for me, which is this community, it makes it even that much easier. When I started writing, that was probably the first thing I really did that moved the needle in a quantitative way so that I could take my process and actually say, what is it? But when I made the Lund Loop a subscription only service, that was a big, big leap in terms of quantifying my simple process. Why? Because I had to be accountable to a community, but more importantly, I got all this great feedback. There's nothing better than having 400 eyes on the market, seeing things that you're not seeing, giving information over here that you weren't aware of, bolstering ideas that you already have, giving you confidence in those ideas. So, I'm going to try for the rest of my trading career, which, who knows how long that will be, to keep it as simple as possible. Always trying to take those little red herrings of like this new, technical tool or this new study or this, I see some of these things that people do that are just so convoluted. Keep them out of the process and just do a very 1, 2, 3 simple way of making money. All right, let's get to the actual chart here. Here's what I like about today. I like